Peace, Oakland. You ever notice how every time someone dares to criticize our local corrupt government, the soggy side pops up like Captain Save-A-Ho with some sensational coordinated smear campaign against them? I mean, take me for example. Now, I'm just a private citizen, but they write about me more than actual elected officials who are behind the policies and budgets destroying Oakland. So, can anyone make it make sense? Now, SoggySide is technically a nonprofit newsroom, which is just mega billionaire code for we lose money on purpose to control the narrative. And even though they're legally supposed to be a nonpartisan entity, their biggest funders are Google, Facebook, and the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. That's Mark Zuckerberg's wife, for those of you who didn't put that together yet. You know, the same tech oligarchy that tracks our every move, manipulates selections, builds data centers that drain natural resources, and sells grandma's recipes to data centers. But of course, they're the conscience of Oakland, California. Now, SoggySide claims that they're amplifying underrepresented voices, but somehow these voices always sound suspiciously like white progressive destructive agenda. Here are some more of their donors. The Knight Foundation, the American Journalism Project, the Stewart Foundation. It's like the Avengers of coastal guilt. The only diversity in that boardroom is between Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. Now, the Oakland side is not a watchdog. They are lapdogs for their progressive handlers. And they parachuted in 2020 in Oakland, right along with them on the backs of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter protests to prop up characters like Cat Brooks and Carol Fife. Cat Brooks is from Vegas. Carol Fife is from Michigan. Remember that. They're not from Oakland. And lately, it's gotten all too obvious, and now many Oakland voters are on to SoggySide's game. So let's end their nonprofit status once and for all and take the fight directly to their funders. SoggySide, it's your turn to be exposed. And so tonight on Gotham, Oakland, we follow both the soggy spin doctors and we follow the money. And spoiler alert, it doesn't lead to the town. It leads to the peninsula, Menlo Park, Piedmont, Mountain View, and even Miami, Florida. Because the real story isn't who SoggySide reports on, it's who they don't. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Do not forget to share this video in all of the platforms I'm banned from for telling the dangerous truth, especially Nextdoor and Reddit. Let's get into it. So I've got a little presentation for y'all, of course. And we're going to track first, not just the SoggySide's funders, we're going to get to that in a minute, but their top two reporters. Now I'm going to get to my favorite one, Darvo Bongram, second. But let's first talk about Eli Wolf. Now, Eli Wolf started as a staff writer with Fair Warning, an investigative journalist covering labor and corporate accountability. Of course, this outlet collapsed in 2020 amid misconduct and leadership scandals. Go figure. And their closer was marred by credibility and government failures. He was also at the San Jose Spotlight, focusing on municipal transparency and local policy, and then he continued on his nonprofit journalism circuit. So now he works with City Hall reporting for the Oakland side. He came in after Darvo moved over to quasi-editor. And I'm not going to talk about all of SoggySide's staff today because this is about their funders, but you're going to see the theme here. This is very important, so follow me. So he has a pattern. He floats around in careers rooted in philanthropy-funded media, AstroTurf, and he has repeated exposure to organizational instability and highly selective accounting. Sounds like all the woke grifters, doesn't it? Let's move on to the next slide. This is going to get real juicy real quick. All right, Darwin Bongram. Now, he started with the East Bay Express. He was an investigative reporter on policing, corruption, and local power. The paper later declined amidst financial collapse and alternative weekly newspapers, i.e. competition that was more interested in blatant propaganda. So he also worked for The Appeal, where he was a reporter as well until 2021. He is the co-writer of the Writers Come Out at Night with his fellow soggy journalist, Ali Winston, who was just, I mean, Ali is a joke. We don't have time to get into that today. I didn't add Ali to one of the slides, although I should have, but you'll see the slide I'm talking about in just a minute. You're going to love this. But Darwin Bongram is probably the most effective propagandist in the Oaklandside. That's why we call him Darvo Bongram. If you don't know what Darvo is, watch episode 1 of Gotham, Oakland. And he also has a pattern of moving through donor-dependent outlets that later collapse. Hopefully we can make Oaklandside collapse. And he has a consistent alignment with, again, philanthropy-supported media. Remember that term, philanthropy-supported media, meaning they're not getting their money from the people as they claim. Now let's go in a little bit more about Darvo Bongram, because this is where it gets really funny. So Darvo Bongram was once a teaching assistant. And look at what his students said about him. They gave him a 3.4 out of 5. And I am Professor Bongram. Oh, let me hide this real quick so you can see the bottom. And here is one review calling him a horrible TA. We have 2 comments here. One says, I completely agree with the person below. I'll read the person below in a second. The worst TA ever. He spent sections talking about his annoying political beliefs and thought he was the best thing in the world. Also, he was completely useless and did not show up to office hours. Yeah. And another one said, worst TA I ever had. He uses his section as a place to rant about the man and how much he hates capitalism. He is bitter and unhelpful and tries as hard as he can to make section miserable. So soggy. Any class with him makes you want to scream and cry. Oh my God, this is too funny. When I saw this online, I was dying because that's Darvo. Darvo Bongram is so soggy. Since he's arrived here, the discourse politically in Oakland has taken a noticeable decline because these white men have conspired to do exactly what they've done. Use their black tokens to, ply their wares. All right, here's another one. Let's get into some of the disgusting things that Darvo has done. Now, this is when I realized he was a real bad man, really, really bad man. Up until this, I actually used to answer SoggySide's questions and try to interview with them. But I was running for mayor of Oakland in 2022, as many of you know. And Leanna Powell blew the whistle, who used to work for Shintile, claiming that she was forced to work on City Times, something we know from that leaked memo they were doing. I put the memo back up here just so you can see it again. Remember how they said they're going to give 110%, but no weekends, right, to fight her recall. But during her election, she was doing the same thing. There's just been no public ethics investigation in it because the corruption goes from top to bottom in City Hall. Nevertheless, Darwin, after she blew the whistle, making the paper, he was more interested in a 20-year-old legal case. Now, Darwin's first report about this, he had 2 reports, okay? He had to release them in back-to-back days because his first story only focused on Zenny 62 Media, which is interesting. I'll get to that in a second of why he may have done that. And then another was just to kind of correct the record because we all complained that, what is this? This is obvious. They gave it away that they were just there to protect Shintile's mayoral candidacy. Now look at the highlighted section in yellow. Here, Darwin Bongram is trying to intimidate a whistleblower by bringing up a 20-year-old case that has absolutely nothing to do with her complaints. This is what a lawyer would do if they were trying to bring you on trial to discredit you to a jury. Textbook intimidation. Now, keep in mind, Oakland's Mayor Shintile was later recalled, and she faces 93 years in prison for federal corruption. Yeah, I think Leanna Powell is probably correct. Leanna Powell also still has the only open public ethics investigation. Now it's going on almost 4 years of being open. Over 3 years of being open, they have not brought it to conclusion, and her complaint was about this whistleblower. And it's still open. They have not completed it yet. Why? Because they've been trying to wait for enough time to pass where it won't have any blowback to the current political regime. And they're doing it with the help of people like Darvo Bongram. Moving on. Now, here's a good one. This is an email that Leanna sent to the SoggySide recently on April 25th, 2025, when Eli was trying to run cover for Brandon Harami's termination. Yeah, they all work together, all of them. Brandon, Eli, Darwin, all these white men work together in their little media ecosystem to smear black people like Leanna Powell. black woman from deep East Oakland. They didn't care about her. I'm going to read this whole email just so you understand what these people are doing to our community. Hello. Now, Shahid Buttar is another person who was smeared by Brandon Harami. He has nothing to do with the Oaklandside. He just happens to be here because I copied a lot of people when Eli hit me up to let them know just how many people have been harmed by Brandon Harami. But this is really to the Oaklandside. Shahid Buttar has nothing to do with the Oaklandside. Just making sure you know that. Okay, I'll keep this brief because I have serious trust issues with the Oaklandside, especially how you protected Brandon Harami from any criticism while frequently posting other people's tweets. You know, that many people, including myself included, have felt harassed by Harami. They've never once said that we've connected Brandon Harami's phone number to his burner account. A clear smoking gun that it belongs to him, and Oaklandside just seems to have omitted that in like maybe a dozen stories they've run about this. We all know why. They're propaganda for Soggies. I wonder if Darwin and Brandon have something going on. Something's weird going on with all of these guys. Again, I'm going to get to that in a minute. I want you to be the judge for yourself. So as a City of Oakland employee, the moment I filed public ethics complaints, and even while I was still working for the city, Harami repeatedly harassed me to the point where I became extremely anxious just opening social media. I reported this to the Oakland Public Ethics Commission multiple times, and I currently have the only open case related to Mayor Tile's illegal use of city time and resources. Harami used social media to attack people, including me, on behalf of Tile, acting as her henchman. Why is it that every time he's called out, the media shifts the focus for him being gay as a shield instead of acknowledging that he has repeatedly harassed black women on behalf of Oakland's elected officials? I have been slandered and accused of things that were completely untrue by Harami. He has taken credit for some of my work and did not bother to acknowledge my contributions. He is a liar, very immature behind closed doors, and a troll behind deceptive social media accounts. Harami is a snake, coward, and a puppet, to say the least. Additionally, not that it's any of your business, I have a queer child that I support very publicly. In fact, I was responsible for introducing the recall Mayor Tile to the LGBTQ Center Lakeshore staff, as well as the Oakland to All group that used to Vogue at Lake Merritt, because my child is well known in the Bay Area ballroom scene. Bashing the LGBTQ plus communities? Question mark. I don't do that, nor do I associate with people that do. Just so you understand what she's talking about, they're always trying to smear me as being anti-queer, which is a lie. So she's just letting them know that we all know that's a lie. Finally, this is illegal. Unfortunately, Leanna, it's not illegal, but I feel you. This is unjust. It is unjust. Please report fairly. And no, I do not want to speak on the phone. I do not trust Oaklandside. Moving on. Another email to Eli Wolf from Judge Brenda. I'm going to read this whole one too. I'm just making a point here about what this is. Two black women. Two black women. No, not peace, StreamYard. Two black women. Put the balloons away. Mr. Wolf, please print this statement in its entirety if you have the courage to do so. He doesn't. He did it. If you do not print in the story you run, I will print it myself on X and other social media platforms in response to your story. Mr. Wolf, you and the Oaklandside newspaper have long engaged in a pattern of bias, misleading, and untruthful reporting about me. Keep in mind, Judge Bender, retired Harbin Forte, is a 24-year Alameda County Superior Court judge who has won multiple statewide awards, most notably for bringing in and mentoring a plethora of black justices and judges during her tenure. She is highly respected, and that didn't stop the Oaklandside from smearing her either. They don't care because they're racist. Anyway, back to this. As you're aware, the Oaklandside is compared in a pattern of bias, misleading, and untruthful reporting about me. Shame on you. This is why I so rarely respond to your requests for comments. You have no journalistic ethics. As you are well aware, for the past 15 months or so, Brandon Harami has posted numerous racist, sexist, insulting, harassing, and demeaning things about me on X and other social media platforms, under various different accounts, and sometimes during working hours when taxpayers were paying him to do work for the city. I believe he was also behind a website that posted and disseminated demonstrably false and misleading information about me when I was running for city attorney. I believe that you and Darwin Bongram have seen those posts because you follow Brandon Harami on X, so you know these posts exist. You and Brandon Harami know this to be indisputably true. You are also well aware that Brandon Harami has now deleted those accounts and posts, so I do not have access to all of them. But when I sue him and you and Darwin Bongram and the Oaklandside, I will have a technology expert comb through all of your electronic graveyards and forensically resurrect all of your communications and follow your electronic footprints. You have heard from numerous people in the last week that Brandon Harami has a long history of pathologically running numerous fake accounts in the Bay Area, including the gay inspector account. He has made false interrogatory claims about various people, including women in general, and me and other African American women in particular, as well as other African Americans and other persons of color. When his victims call him out for his wrongful conduct, he runs to the press claiming to be an innocent victim. They have even provided you copies of some of Brandon Harami's various posts under various accounts, which you apparently are not interested in reporting on. Brandon Harami is running the same play with you on the Oaklandside because of your lack of journalistic ethics. You refuse to run those truthful accounts and reveal what and who Brandon Harami really is. These sources have given you tons of information, have told you, apparently correctly, that you are simply trying to run interference for Brandon Harami and trying to buttress his anticipated lawsuit against the city and others following his termination. Newsflash, later Brandon Harami did file the first step for a lawsuit against the city of Oakland for wrongful termination. In my 45 years of criminal and civic legal experience, 27 of them as a judge. I'm sorry, I said 23. 27 of them as a judge. I have seen numerous wrongdoers arrogantly think that they have gotten away with something because they naively thought the evidence had been buried, only for the truth to spectacularly come out. Such will be the case when Brandon Harami, the Oaklandside, and your other reporters to your other reporters. It will, because I'm suing. Even if Judge Bender don't, I am. That's coming. Y'all got smoke coming with me, and you know this. Before you run any articles that accuse me of a crime or other wrongdoing, I would urge you to make sure you have received sound legal advice about the consequences of reporting defamatory claims made by Brandon Harami. I especially urge you to learn what doxing is and not, particularly when it comes to public employees and their contact numbers listed on public employers' websites, as well as political mailings and the public employee himself has widely disseminated and invited the public to use and contact him. That's Brandon Harami trying to claim we doxed him. He lost miserably in court. All of them lost in court. They all tried to file restraining orders against me, and I beat them all. Oaklandside was there. They were so mad. Anyway, when you find a journalistic integrity to report truthfully on Brandon Harami, I will be happy to answer your questions to provide evidence. Until such time, please do not contact me again about Brandon Harami. He is a very disturbed person, and I feel for my life because he seems to be mentally unstable and reckless in his retaliatory actions, as numerous people have been telling you this past week. Thank you, Honorable Judge Brenda Harbin Forte. She's just true. So here is the media ecosystem of white journalists covering things. Now, I remember doing the Neighbors Together Oakland's 9/9 rally that they tried to smear me. Every single one of them came out. All of them were there. Maybe not William Fitzgerald. He probably was there too. But the rest of them were there. And they all were so mad to see that we were successful and the rally came off great. So Mark Mishonik, he ran that hit piece on me talking about far right watch. Zach Herber, super soggy, always smearing black men. Brandon Harami, who we've just mentioned several times. Eli Wolf, we just talked about him. Omar Trashy Yassin, who runs Oakland Reddit, who kicks everyone off the Oakland Reddit, not the Oakland, California Reddit, but the regular Oakland Reddit. If you say anything disparaging progressive, he goes ahead and kicks you off. That's why people started the new Oakland, California Reddit. If you didn't know that that was the moderator for Reddit, now you do. Of course, we have Darwin Darvo Bongram, and we have William Fitzgerald, who works for the Worker Agency, which is a public relations firm, also in the ecosystem of the progressives. Now let's talk about these funders, because that's what we're really here for, these funders. Now, keep in mind that the same funding ecosystem funding Oaklandside also funded Anti-Police Terror Project and the progressive movement. More about that in a minute. So Oaklandside is a nonprofit news outlet in Oakland, California, launched in 2020. In just 5 years, the harm that they've done to Oakland's politics I mean, look at our streets. The Oaklandside is partially responsible for that. They publicly disclose their financial supporters. So below is a comprehensive list of all disclosed donors, cash and in-kind, organized by contribution level, along with the available contact information and donation amounts or ranges. Note, the Oaklandside did not exist in the early 2000s. This donor information covers contributions for pretty much the last 5 years. Now, before you act like Seneca, why are you showing all of their donors? That's crazy. Are you trying to intimidate people? I'll remind you that during the recall, Oaklandside ran an article, who's funding the recall, and they listed every single person who gave money to the recall, even people giving $100, $500. So we're going to return the favor and let everybody know who's given to SoggySide so you can see where they live at. Not doxing on where they live at, but like what city they live at. So first, American Journalism Project, Washington, D.C. Over $2 million. That's not from California or even Oakland. Sounds like AstroTurf. Google News Initiative, over $2 million. Mountain View, California. Big Tech. Looks like they're getting money from Big Tech and major donors. They also have SEO help from Google. Oaklandside is pretty much a headline factory. They run smear headlines to people look them up, and they can use them for what's called a double-ended smear. If you don't know what a double-ended smear is, we'll put it in the screen right there so you can figure it out yourself. If I don't put it in the screen and I forgot, just look it up. I don't want to go back and edit all of this. All right. Here's some major donors, $100,000 to $999. And let's see, we have the Bass Austin Family Fund. No public contact available. Donation from $100,000 to $1 million. We have who is that? Look them up. A lot of money. Private. No public contact. Whoever they are, they gave anywhere between $100,000 and $1 million. The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative gave somewhere between $100,000 and $1 million. Mark Zuckerberg's wife. These are the richest people in the entire world. Some of the richest people in the entire world are funding Oaklandside. Why? What do they want from them? Oh, Facebook Journalism Project. More Meta. Another $100,000 to $999 from Menlo Park. Okay, private donors from Oakland. Barb and Andy Freeman gave between $100,000 and $999. I guess that's one from Oakland. Whoever Barb and Andy Freeman are, they gave a lot of money. At least they're from Oakland. All right, here goes the Knight Foundation. They are in Miami, Florida. They gave between $100,000 and $1 million. The Albert and Janice Meister Foundation, they are in San Francisco. Mike and Tara Olsen in the Bay Area. I don't know if they're in Oakland, probably not. We have another one here, the Silverstein Foundation. A lot of foundations. The Stewart Foundation and other private donors. Okay, Mark and Susan Strutzman, who live in Oakland, California, gave somewhere between $100,000 and $1 million. Okay, let's move it on down to the $10,000 through $99,000. We have, of course, Akanandai. Remember, Akanandai, Latifah Simon. Latifah Simon ran Akanandai, so that's an elected official who was on BART board, given directly to Oaklandside. Akanandai also supported Anti-Police Terror Project, who gave money to Community Ready Corps, Carol Fife's nonprofits. Carol Fife's an elected official. You putting this together yet? Same ecosystem, same funding sources. All this, not dark money, but tech money and oligarchy money, but somehow the criticism doesn't cut both ways. You have another anonymous donor. We have the Estera Fund. We have Battery Powered, the San Francisco Battery Club, the exclusive private club in San Francisco. We have Gideon Bollock, an individual donor in the Bay Area. The California Endowment, which is a multi-billion-dollar endowment, one of the largest nonprofits in the state, in the country, actually. We have so many more. I mean, I'm not going to read them all. Maybe I should just play some music or something while we just go through them. I'm just going to play some music and scroll through these if you don't mind. I'm just going to play.
Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here.
A lot of money, Oaklandside.
Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. I hold my chest when I drop these. Once upon a smoke unconscious, go ponder trauma responses. No return to sender till you bones to pick. Devil on his own agenda, fully loaded when it renders. This that lonely bender on the strip. Feeling solo at the party and the lowies dipped. D totaled the whip, best way it could go. Last know was the Van Wick, he evaded the nose. Don't call a coyote ugly or a pony quick. Do remember, it's all her. Elephants, don't forget. I want the dude to even make those 40 years. Shorty blowing smoke rings across the lawn, you know the gist. Yo, I swear it's only up from
298 other donors that gave between $1,000 and $10,000. Some familiar names up here. John Bliss. We're going to get into that in a minute. We'll have a video to share. John Bliss does he's one of the top lobbyists. He depends on city council's votes to get his stuff passed. Very interesting. That name's going to come up again in just a minute. Tracy Craig. I like Tracy Craig, actually, but she gave a SoggySide. Now, a lot of people may have given to them back in 2020, 2021 before it was obvious what they were doing. So it doesn't mean I'm condemning all of these people, but I'm just pointing out who funds them, who gives them thousands of dollars. So you can reach out to them, or if you're one of these people, stop writing checks to such a racist organization. All right, we're still scrolling. A lot of donors. Isaac Cosweed, he's a lobbyist. He depends on votes from city council. A lot of lobbyists here. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't recognize any of these names really, but maybe these are their Oakland voters. So if you're scared, Dan Siegel, rest in peace. Of course, he gave money. He depends on council too for votes for his stuff he used to do. I'm not going to speak ill of the dad, so I'm going to hold my tongue. Not a fan now. So anyway, that's the Oaklandside's funding. I want you to think about that. What are they doing here? They're obviously not here to report the truth. So what are they doing here? Seriously. What is Oaklandside doing here? I got one more video to share, actually. One more thing to share. It's a fundraiser. Zenny 62 Media actually did a good job here.
So I'm going to get through this with some alacrity by reading from my prepared text as follows. Oaklandside nonprofit news doesn't reveal donors, but fundraisers draw Oakland City Council members.
No, we found their donors, Zenny. We found them.
Oaklandside is the north of 2-year-old nonprofit website that likes to push the idea that it practices objective journalism, uninfluenced by politicians and the wealthy. It avoids posting a list of its donors, yet routinely violates nonprofit tax law by writing about politically charged issues like the Oakland Bulk and Oversized Terminal, or attacking black men running for office like Derek Johnson. Indeed, one of its editors,
just 2 years
Alan
ago,
Von Graham, wrote an email claiming to take an interest in my Zenny Abraham, CEO of Zenny 62 Media's explosive interview with former aide to Oakland District 4 council member and Oakland mayoral candidate Shang Tao, Leanna Powell.
Mm-hmm.
But really, he wanted to know how I met Powell and who he thought was paying me, and assumed that had something to do with the Powell interview. It didn't. Mr. Graham.
Now, I'm not going to play this whole one. You can go find this interview, this thing for yourself. But what he's doing is he's breaking down who's actually going to the SoggySide fundraiser. You see that photo right there? Carol Fife and Nikki Bass at the fundraiser. Look at them. You want to know why you rarely see anything negative, if ever? And they always seem to run cover for Carol Fife and Nikki Bass? Look at them. They're at the fundraiser. They share the same funders. They share the same ecosystem. They share the same agenda. And that agenda is exactly what you see playing out in Oakland, California right now today. So the garbage piling up in the streets, the nonprofits siphoning money from us, the city auditor keeps giving you audit report after audit report, blowing the whistle. No one seems to care. We have another police chief leaving because our police oversight committee is hell-bent on dismantling and defunding the police. Every episode here, we connect the dots to these people. Everyone. Watch my last live when I talk about why the chief left. Why does Barbara Lee appointing all of the defunded police people who came in 5 years ago to dismantle Oakland, California? Now, I got one thing to say. They wouldn't have been able to do this without their cadre of sellouts, their tokens. Remember, use black people as tokens. And oh, have they. Oh, have these white men that you saw in that photo use black men and women and they, them as tokens. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you are one of those tokens, if you are one of those bootlicking, soggy, sycophant sellouts, shame on you. Shame on you. You are absolutely disgusting. Not one of you can look me in my eyes when I walk around the streets. I walk around the streets of Oakland with my head held high. Because when I go to the community, people say, thank you, Seneca, for recalling that mayor. I'm in the barbershop today getting fresh. My man said, you Seneca Scott, thank you, brother, for recalling that mayor. And I like your show. My man, I appreciate that. And for all of you out there watching, I appreciate you. I really do. But we need to get louder. And I'm seeing a lot more people getting into the arena, left and right. People making music videos, making Substack articles, doing their own versions of Gotham, Oakland. We got East Bay Dad out there giving them hell. We got Urban Compassion Project blowing a whistle next Thursday on the truth behind Oakland's illegal dumping. Make sure you go to that press conference. So we are firing on all cylinders, and people are running to the hill. So it's time, y'all. Just get Oaklandside out the paint. Call their donors and let them know. Write the IRS. I'm putting it right here. This IRS complaint line. Write the IRS complaint line and let them know that Oaklandside is operating as an extremely partisan news source. They are public relations for the failing progressive regime whose policies have got us in the quagmire that we're in the first place. Absolutely. You can follow the policies. You can follow their destructive agenda. And now Barbara Lee is here to complete the task. We are in the last stages of any opportunity to turn this ship around, or it won't be up from here. We're going bankrupt next year, actually, so I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe we can't really turn it around. But at least we can know why we're bankrupt. And once we go bankrupt next year, if my predictions are correct, we can get out of office everyone who had a hand in it. So anyway, love y'all. Peace, Oakland. Take care the next time. Get in the arena. Hold your elected officials accountable. We call Carol Fife. Let's get these people up out of here.
Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here.